Hello, my name is Sally Pinto, and I'm the Program Director for the Yonkers Newark Neighborhood Naturally Occurring Retirement Community. We serve seniors 60 plus in Northeast Yonkers. We are under the auspices of WJCS and the Yonkers Office for the Aging. We also have a resource specialist and a nurse on staff. We conduct virtual programming in partnership with the Yonkers Public Library on a daily basis. Enjoy the program.
Great to be here with you at the start of a new year. Thank you for giving this gift to yourself right at the start of the year, getting into hopefully good patterns, good habits. Good time to think about resolutions, new commitments, but any time of the year is good to do that. And I'm glad you're making a renewed commitment, a new commitment this morning. That's what makes this community possible. We have our usual workout here. It definitely got cold the last week. It felt a lot colder to me. And so I know my body's been thirsting for a little bit more inner warmth, inner light, inner strength to battle some of these elements. So that's what we're getting into. We got a strange weather morning out there, I think we've been hearing. So good to start off with a little attention to our body, our mind, and our soul. We'll start off with a little bit of a warm up here, just working from the top of our body down to the bottom. We'll do some breathing throughout that, always focusing on our breathing, deep, steady breathing throughout, breathing into our stomach, allowing our stomach to expand on the in-breath. And then as we exhale fully out of our mouth, we're always bringing that stomach back into the spine and pushing all of that air out of our mouth. And that's a good sort of basic pattern to be thinking about as you go through your breathing, trying to link those up with the exercises in some way. We're being mindful throughout. We're paying attention to what's going on in our whole body. We're looking at the particular site of the movement. So if we're doing a bicep curl, we're thinking about our bicep, but we're also thinking about all the muscles that surround that. How is my forearm feeling? How is my shoulder feeling? How is my core feeling? Am I still sitting upright? Am I breathing deeply? How do my feet feel connected to the ground? Always both focusing on the specific area and being aware of the rest of our body and what our body might be telling us, whispering to us, teaching us about that movement, about what it needs right now. And we're trying to listen and understand the language of our body more deeply. So we got mindfulness, as always, we're doing our deep breathing throughout, and hopefully we got big smiles. Just trying to smile will make the workout feel better, release all sorts of good endorphins, all sorts of good stuff when we just try to put on a smile. So those are the few key reminders as we start off a new year, just some of the basics I'm thinking about as I go through my movement. As I said, we'll start off with a warm up, incorporating some breathing. We got a few rounds of seated exercises. We'll transition to standing, and we'll be starting off this new year here at the end with a poem meditation, and I'll drop that in the chat afterwards. So that's a little overview of the class. I'm glad you're here with us. Let's jump into it, starting off just with a little bit of movement and deep breathing linked up together. So we're sitting towards the front of our chair. Our feet are flat on the floor. Our core is engaged. We're sitting nice and tall. Our shoulders are going down and back. We're imagining that there's a little string lifting us up through the crown of our head. So we're nice and extended through our core, nice and extended through our neck. Everything is engaged. And we're going to start off with some slow steeple breathing. So we're just going to go nice, slow pace. We're going to push out the air. Inhaling the hands down into a nice prayer position. Exhaling, pushing up overhead. Nice reach ahead. Inhaling, draw the breath in, down into prayer position. Working at your own pace, inhaling deeply into the stomach, exhaling out of the mouth. Coming over into a little bent over position more, a little cat position, extending that spine, rounding that spine, pushing up, leaning back a little bit farther. Getting the upper back more involved, keeping that breathing steady. So coming over into a little bit of a forward round, sort of cat position here. And then extending up, lengthening the spine. 2 more on your own with that little added back movement. And then let the arms fall gently to the side. Good. Always good to start off with some deep breathing, lots of different movements to incorporate with that breathing. I've been starting off a lot of my mornings with some form of breathing and movement, and it feels great and gets me going for the day. We're going to keep warming up these shoulders a little bit more and the whole chest back complex. We're going to try to get our hands up, touching our shoulders. The more on top they can be, the better. But if they're a little bit towards the front with mobility issues, wherever feels comfortable, we don't want this to feel painful. Just a little mobility work with our hands on our shoulders lightly. We're just tracing as big of a circle as we can handle right now. This might be tight to start the day. If your range of motion is fairly short, that's fine. With mobility work, we start off with what we can handle, with what feels a comfortable range of motion, and we slowly work bigger. And that might take some time. It might take 20, 30 circles before the circles start getting bigger. That's fine. We work nice and slowly and we listen to our body. Let's go in the opposite direction here. Good, and then let the arms fall gently to the side with a good exhale, getting loose in between, always shaking things out and finding that good posture again, reminding ourselves of those keys, mindfulness, breathing, and our big smiles throughout. We're gonna do this sort of open and close movement that I've been liking. So follow along with me, we'll talk through it as we go. We're gonna inhale our arms up overhead and we're gonna reach forward and get into that nice cat position. So our back is sort of rounded, and then we're going to lean back and go back into a big open stretch. Coming forward and reaching back. Nice big yawn, opening the chest, reaching forward. Feel that spine loosening up, the spine lengthening, extending. All the back and shoulder muscles getting involved. Going a little bit deeper and wider as we go. And on this next one, we're going to come forward into a hug. So coming all the way forward, reaching up over the top, and then giving yourself a nice big hug, reaching all the way back. Working out the spine, stretching a little bit from within this hug, and then let's extend again. And this time when we come over, just put the other arm up top into another big hug. So just try to switch which arm was on top. And then let's reach up over again. And then switch the arms again. So my right arm is on top in this hug. Reaching back. One more time with another hug. Good, and sitting upright, letting those arms fall to the side. Excellent. Next up, we're gonna do our ground foot circles to get our legs warming up. So we're just tracing, sitting towards the front of our chair. We're just tracing light circles with our foot, getting the leg warmed up, getting our body awareness going, our sense of our body in space called proprioception, our awareness of where our body's moving. We got our core nice and engaged. We're still sitting tall. And then let's just reverse circle there, reverse the direction. Good. Let's come with the other leg here. Good posture, deep breathing, big smiles. Let's go the other direction. Good, and sitting towards the front of our chair, let's lift our left leg up, and you could hold it at the front of the shin or underneath, whatever is a good grip. We're just gonna do some ankle circles here. So we hit the ankles, last little part of our body we wanna hit for the warm up. Our core is still engaged, but we're just focusing on this ankles rotation here. Reverse directions once. And reverse directions once more. Good, and let's come over to this right leg. Just some simple ankle circles, whatever range of motion you have right now. And we expand that over time. Let's switch directions. And then switch directions once more. Good, and let that ankle and foot fall back to the ground. Excellent, good work. That's our warm up. As always, use that throughout your week, 5-10 minutes, great start to your day. Or maybe it's in the afternoon, you got a little tight, little sore. Just giving 5-10 minutes of movement to your body might be a great habit to incorporate for you at the start of this new year. We're going to move into our seated exercises. We have 5 exercises, as always, coming up. 40 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest. We're going to start off with some simple alternating leg extensions, just a good squeeze at the quad, sitting upright and nice and tall throughout that. Then we're going to do alternating overhead press. So punching up overhead. I don't have them with me today, but if you like using a little hand weight or something like that, you're more than welcome to. Not necessary. We're good with body weight if that's all we have and all we want to do. But if you do have a little hand weight, that might be an easy one to throw a hand weight into as well. Same thing, we're going to do horizontal rows. We'll do alternating on that as well. Keep things different. So we'll bend over slightly and we'll do alternating rows. 4th movement is going to be a reach over with a wide out. So we're going to reach over and kick our leg out wherever we could get to, whatever feels like a good rhythm, and reaching up over the top of our head. That's going to be our 4th movement. 5th movement is going to be a nice deep seated lunge, using the chair to find this lunge position, finding a good position on one side, coming forward into a nice deep wide squat, switching over to the other side, working that hip mobility, teaching that hip to move, the knee to move, all that good stuff, into a nice wide lunge on this side. And then we'll just repeat that, finding that good lunge position. And then we're going to do a little bit more lunging in our standing exercises as well. So those are our 5 seated movements. 40 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest. That's about 5 minutes for us. And that's going to be, we're going to do 2 rounds of that just to get started in this workout. So let's start together with leg extensions in 3, 2, 1. Just sitting nice and tall. We could have a little hand resting on our quad muscle here, feeling that muscle get fully extended, fully involved. Nice squeeze in the muscle. Really working that mind muscle connection on this. We can activate our muscles very powerfully, even without a weight acting upon them. And pause there. Good, excellent. First exercise there. Next up is going to be alternating overhead press. So we're sitting nice and tall, punching up directly over our head. Let's jump into that in 3, 2, 1. Sitting nice and tall throughout this. Good breathing habits. Big smiles on our faces, everybody. We're working hard. We're giving our body some nice gifts here. Let's work hard for 10, everybody. And pause. Good. Second exercise there. Third up is going to be a horizontal row. Good idea to bend over slightly and work from this position while our back is flat, our chest is out and engaged. We're not slumped over, we're bent over, nicely engaged. But if that's not feeling comfortable and you want to just stay seated upright, that's going to be fine as well. But I'll be doing it from a little bit of a bent over position. So let's jump into that together in 3, 2, 1. Let's do alternating here. Good squeeze in the back muscles. Working hard for 5, everybody. And pause. Excellent. Good. 3 starting exercises, very isolated exercises, focusing on specific muscles. These last 2, we're going to target a lot more sort of a full body work here, starting with a reach over with a wide out. So we're working from the same side of our body. So it's going to be left leg with the left arm, right arm with the right leg. We're going to kick out and reach over, kick out and reach over. Nice flow with this. Let it feel good. A little bit of a stretch in the side as we come over. Good posture throughout, good breathing, nice flow, nice rhythm to this movement. Let's jump into that together in 3, 2, 1. Good posture, staying nice and tall as we reach through. We're not slumping forward on this. We're sitting nice and tall. Working hard for 5. And pause. Good. 20 seconds rest. Next up is going to be, we're going to work the lunge. So this is best in a chair without arms. If we can make that happen, don't go crazy right now. We could do it for future weeks. I'll give you some other options throughout. The best one is to be sitting towards the front of our chair. Nice wide legs. So we're in this wide squat position and we turn to the side and we drop that knee down. And then we're supporting ourselves on the chair. My right glute, right thigh, right leg is nicely supported by the chair. We're sitting nice and tall, finding that good lunge position. We could lengthen it out even further as that feels comfortable. And then we're going to rotate, coming back into the squat position, and we drop that other leg. That's the best sort of way to do this. If you could work lunges on the side, if that front version is not feeling comfortable, we could work the lunge out of this position. We could also work the lunge. If you do have arms on the chair, we could work the lunge position out of this. And that'll work fine for us as well. But that first version, I think, is the best for us to really learn this lunge. Try to work that in if you can. If that's all really not working for you and you want to just do more leg extensions, that's going to be just fine as well. But let's try to work this lunge together if you're up for it. So we're sitting towards the front of our chair, and we're just going to move back and forth between a good quality lunge on each side. So we're not going for lots of reps here. Good quality mobility work on this. Let's do that in 3, 2, 1. So dropping my right leg, finding that good lunge position, nice and tall, sitting tall through my core, still thinking about that posture, extending through the spine. And then let's start to pick that right knee up, coming back to the center position, nice and wide, dropping the left leg down. Finding a good position, and then coming back to the wide, and then coming back over to this side. Work through this slowly, find the good position. We'll do this for about 40 seconds, but we're just working this to find this good lunge position and learn it well. Let's rotate that right knee and then drop the left. Feeling nice and strong in this. We got our support, but we're using as much of our body to find this good lunge position. Left leg rotating, right leg dropping. Let's hang here, and then we're just going to do one more. Open this right leg, turning over to the left side. And then break there, returning back to center. That's some really good quality lunge work. It can be a difficult movement, but as we learn and get stronger with it, it's going to do a lot for our lower body health and our full body health. Good time to grab a little drink of water. And we will be back in just a few seconds with our 5 exercises. We've got leg extensions, overhead press, horizontal row, then our reach overs with the wide outs, and some more lunge work. At the end, another 5 minutes of seated work before we move to our standing. Let's jump in together. We'll start off with seated leg extensions. We're sitting towards the front of our chair, starting together in 3, 2, 1. Toe pointing up nice and strong to the sky. Feeling a good squeeze in the quads. Working hard for 5. And break. Good work on that first exercise. Next up, alternating overhead press. We're sitting towards the front of our chair. Nice core engagement, sitting tall, keeping that good posture throughout. And then we're punching up overhead, trying to reach up over our head. Not so much out to the side, but trying to punch directly over our head. That'll get the shoulder involved in the best way it can. And let's jump into that together in 3, 2, 1. Push hard for these last 5, everybody. and break. Excellent. In 20 seconds, we're going to be doing that row. We like to be a little bit bent over with a nice, flat, strong back. Our chest is still open, but that gives us a nice angle. But if you want to sit upright and keep that good upright posture, that's fine as well, if that's feeling better for you right now. Let's jump into that in 3, 2, 1. And we're still working the alternating, giving both sides of our body a little bit of love and work. Working hard through the end here. A couple more reps, everybody. And break. Excellent. Good work out there. 2 more movements, a little bit more full body involved here, a little bit more difficult. Going to get the heart rate in and the sweat going. Hopefully we got reach overs with a kick out. Let's jump into that. So again, working the same side, right leg with right arm, left leg with left arm. Let's go right into that movement in 3, 2, 1. Reaching up overhead, kicking out. Reaching up overhead, kicking out. Working hard through the end here, everybody. A little bit more. Push hard on this. Working hard, full body movement here. And we'll pause. Good. One more exercise here. Working through the lunge nice and slowly, finding that good position, locking it into our memory, teaching our body this is what a lunge feels like. And then we move on to the next good position, working through a lot of good mobility. Let's start off coming over to the right here. Starting off with a nice wide stance is a good place to start. And then we drop this left knee down. We can extend that leg out a bit. We're finding a nice solid position on our right leg, supported by the chair underneath our glute, underneath our thigh. Finding that good position, locking it in, getting the core involved. And then let's open that left leg, coming over, dropping this right leg down, finding a good lunge on the other side. Holding that for a second, and then working this right leg up, coming across, dropping the left leg down. And then opening that left leg, coming across, right leg. Right leg opening up, left leg. Coming up, opening that left leg, right leg dropping down underneath. And then let's pause and break there. Excellent. That is our second round of exercises out of the chair. We're going to stand up and move into some standing exercises. And as always, we're using the chair for support as we need it. We're going to definitely use it on some squats to start, but beyond that, if you want that chair right near you, right in front of you, that's fine. I'll show you how to use it throughout. So we always have something to balance on, something to grab if we feel like we need it. But we got 5 exercises out of the chair. The first one is going to be a simple seated squat. So we're going to use the chair, reach back, find our good squat position. Then we're going to come up and we're going to do a little something different. We're going to come up onto our calves. So we're just going to move that squat into a nice calf raise. So out of the chair into a squat, coming up onto our toes just to finish with a nice calf raise. That's our first movement. Our second movement standing, coming out of the first set of seated. We're just gonna do alternating overhead press. If your legs feel like they wanna work out and you wanna bring it down into a little squat, that's just gonna add a little bit more work and involvement to the legs. Always a good option for you if you're looking to intensify the workout. Our next movement, we'll definitely use the back of the chair on this one. We're just gonna do alternating hamstring curls. So just trying to bring that heel close to the butt, squeezing in the hamstring, activating that hamstring muscle. Fourth movement is going to be, instead of horizontal rows from the first set, we'll do pull downs. So we're just going to pull down, reach up, pull down, emphasizing the pull down with our lat muscles, our back muscles there. And the fifth movement rather, we're going to use the front of the chair on this one. And we're going to bring in back in that lunging movement. So we're going to put our right leg up onto the chair. Our left leg is going to be pointing out directly in front of us. Our right leg perpendicular, right foot perpendicular to that. We're going to come into a little bit of a lunge, push off, extend the leg. Come into a little bit of a lunge, push off, and extend the leg. We're just going to work that, teaching our body to lunge. We could add a little reach over. I'll talk through at some point. That'll come later. We'll work the right leg entirely first and then switch over to the left leg for the second set. More cues and guidance to come as we get back into those movements. But our first movement is going to be a nice seated squat to stand into a calf raise. So just coming up onto our calves, finding a good flow with this. Let's get into this in 3, 2, 1. So using the chair for a nice good squat, coming up, extending onto our calves. Reaching back, coming up, extending onto our calves. Using this chair in a nice, healthy way. We want to reach our butt back. My chest is staying up. Good posture, good squatting posture throughout this. Teaching ourselves to use a chair well. There's a lot of poor form of people getting into and out of chairs. Take this time when we're nice and warm and strong to learn a good pattern for getting into and out of a chair. Coming up onto the calves. Let's get one more rep here together. Good, staying nice and tall. We're going to stay standing because we're working out of the standing position here. Again, chair can be in front of you. I just move it to the side so you could see me. And next up is going to be alternating overhead press. We could come down into a squat if we need it, if we like to, or you could just stand with your feet together. That would be fine, but we're going to have our arms to the side. We're doing alternating overhead press in 3, 2, 1. And pause in 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Next up, we'll be doing pull downs, similar sort of an isolation exercise here, just focusing on some specific muscles. We could do this out of the crouch as well if you're feeling strong. We're going to reach our arms up overhead. We'll do these alternate as well. So we'll alternate, pull down, nice good squeeze in the lat and the back muscles, pulling that weight down. That's where we're focusing our mind. If you want to just stand upright and do it out of here, that's going to be just as good for us today. So let's jump into that in 3, 2, 1. Really imagine pulling that weight down. And pause in 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Good third exercise there. Oh, actually, I had skipped one. We got hamstring curls. We'll flip-flop that next time, but we're going to do, in a moment, a nice set of hamstring curls. We could use the back of the chair, and we're just picking that heel up towards the butt. Nice pivot point at the knee. That's what we're looking for, and we'll alternate sides on this, working both sides equally. Jumping into this in 3, 2, 1. Just getting a good squeeze. No need to rush through this. Good squeeze of the hamstring muscle. And pause. Good. Last movement, we're going to be working this lunge pattern. So we're going to be using the body of our chair here. We'll work the right leg is the lead leg. We're going to be coming up onto the chair. Our right foot is pointing in this direction, sort of with the chair. Our left leg perpendicular, pointing out. We're finding just a good balance between reaching too far out, but we want to be able to come forward into a lunge and then fully extend the leg as well. And we're just going to work nice and slowly through these two movements. And then as we get more and more confident, we could just add a little reach over. And that's what will work for 40 seconds. Give this a try, find a good motion with it, find a good range. And we'll see how it goes. Let's jump into that in 3, 2, 1. So leaning as deep as we can, wherever the ankle and knee flexibility goes. And then we're just extending the leg as well. Coming forward, reaching into the lunge, extending the leg. And then as we come back, we could reach over and get a little extra of a side bend in here. Let's do 2 more on this. Excellent pause there. Good work, everybody. We'll take a little break, but I am cognizant of time. So we're going to sort of work through this last standing set at a good pace here, a little bit shorter rest times, probably less of me talking. So let's move right into it. We're going to start off with a sweet seated squat into our nice calf raise. Let's get into that together in 3, 2, 1. So nice seated squat into the calf raise. Trying to use our legs to nice and steadily under control, find our good squat position in the chair. And then using our legs to power us up. Let's get one more. We're going to finish in the standing position. Nice full extension. Good. Excellent. That's our first movement. We got alternating overhead press next. Again, we can work it out of the crouch position if we'd like. Just gives our legs a little bit more work. You determine if that's what you want to be doing this morning or not, depending on how you're feeling this morning. But we're going to get into that overhead press in 3, 2, 1. And pause. Good. Good work there. We're going to do this in the right order this time. We're going to do our hamstring curls. So just giving you a different perspective here, but we're using the back of the chair. Nice pivot point at the knee, heel coming up close to the butt, squeezing that nice hamstring muscle to get that engaged and involved. Let's jump into that in 3, 2, 1. And we could pause. Good. 2 more movements here. We have pull downs. Again, you could work it out of the crouch if you'd like, but we're focusing on that lat muscle, the back muscles, pulling a big weight down. We'll do that with alternating sides. And we got our last lunge set. So let's get into this. In 3, 2, 1. We're reaching up overhead, pulling the weight down. And we'll pause there. 1 more movement. We're going to come over into the other side for our lunge here. So our left leg is going to be up on the chair. Our toe is pointing out from the chair. Our right leg is nice and solid beneath us, with right leg, for me, pointing towards the screen, out from me. We have our glutes engaged, so we're staying nice and tall. And just another way to start working a lunge variation, get all the nice mobility we have for a good quality lunge movement. So we're just going to find a good pattern leaning forward, coming back, and then we'll reach, add in the reach overhead as we go. So leaning forward into a good lunge, wherever we could get to, coming back, reaching up overhead. Finding this good position, holding there for a second, coming back to full extension, getting full extension of this leg. One more. Coming into the lunge one more time. And finishing up here with a good reach over and exhale the arm to the side. Good, great work on those standing exercises. Let's come back to our seated position and we'll close with a meditation. And to close today's class, we'll do one of our poem meditations based on the basic category of sort of a mantra meditation. Lots of schools of thought on this, approach to this, but the repetition of a sacred sound, a sacred word, a sacred phrase. You repeat that to ground yourself when distractions come along. It's sort of an anchor or a rock to stand on. These are some of the basic images of why we might consider a mantra meditation. It's very popular. It's compared sometimes to chewing on a sacred text. So we have sacred texts in many of our great traditions. And we take a bit of that and we sort of chew on it and try to get all of the meaning and life out of it we can. And sometimes we just repeat that for 10, 15, 20 minutes, even more for people really practicing this, and they just get deeper and deeper into that sound, that word, that concept. Some traditions invite us then to sort of let it go and to just go into a space of rest. Others invite us to keep going deeper. Lots of approaches here, but it's about whatever works for you and brings you into a deeper space of mindfulness. And I picked out a poem here called The Patience of Ordinary Things by Schneider. Just struck me this morning. There's a chair that gets mentioned, and I thought of our chairs and how important they are for our workout here. I posted the poem in the chat with a link to it as well. Again, find your own meditative habits. Do you like to look at the text on a page? Do you like to just listen to my voice? What's your way of experiencing this most deeply? We've done it a lot. Maybe you have your own patterns and habits now, but my basic pattern and habit will be to read it once for you, just to get a sense of the poem. Then I'll read it a second time. And on that second time, and invite you to listen for a word or phrase that strikes your heart, your mind, your soul, calls out to you. Maybe it shimmers on the page a little bit, or the sound of my voice just strikes you a little more deeply. Then you hold on to that word or phrase, repeat it gently to yourself with your breathing for the next 5 to 10 minutes or so. And then I'll close with one more reading. And we could sort of see what happens after, notice where our mind went, see what it thinks of it, see what emerges, just paying attention, having an experience, being open to an experience. Well, we could start by finding a good meditative posture. Again, if you have your own that you like, find that now. But if not, feet on the floor, sitting upright and alert, hands resting gently on our thighs or in our lap, engaged core, deep breathing in through our nose and out of our mouth. Those are all the good basics. And we'll begin our meditation period just by clearing our mind, taking a deep breath in through our nose, holding the breath for a moment, and exhaling out of our mouth. Let any thoughts begin to float away. And live in the depth of this present moment. And this poem is The Patience of Ordinary Things. It is a kind of love, is it not? How the cup holds the tea, how the chair stands sturdy and foursquare, how the floor receives the bottoms of the shoes or toes, how soles of feet know where they're supposed to be. I've been thinking about the patience of ordinary things, how clothes wait respectfully in closets and soap dries quietly in the dish, and towels drink the wet from the skin of the back, and the lovely repetition of stairs. And what is more generous than a window? Now I'll read the poem once more, and this time listen for a word or phrase that strikes your heart or your mind. It is a kind of love, is it not? How the cup holds the tea, how the chair stands sturdy and foursquare, how the floor receives the bottoms of shoes or toes, how soles of feet know where they're supposed to be. I've been thinking about the patience of ordinary things, how clothes wait respectfully in closets, and soap dries quietly in the dish, and towels drink the wet from the skin of the back, and the lovely repetition of stairs. And what is more generous than a window? And so now you could sit with that word or phrase, repeating it gently to yourself as an anchor. Then you could begin to return to full awareness, slowing the repetition of the word and letting it go. And you could begin to open your eyes or wiggle your fingers and your toes. Grateful for this period of quiet. And we can close with one more reading of The Patience of Ordinary Things by Schneider. It is a kind of love, is it not? How the cup holds the tea, how the chair stands sturdy and foursquare, how the floor receives the bottoms of shoes or toes, how soles of feet know where they're supposed to be. I've been thinking about the patience of ordinary things, how clothes wait respectfully in closets, and soap dries quietly in the dish, and towels drink the wet from the skin of the back, and the lovely repetition of stairs. And what is more generous than a window? And I thank you for your generosity towards yourself, towards our community, for being here today. The phrase that really grabbed me was how soles of feet know. And I've been doing a lot of barefooting in this last year in my exercise life as I go for walks. Sometimes barefooting has been a fun practice, an important practice. And my soles and my feet have taught me a lot and have taught me things I never knew. And that was what I was just dwelling in and resting in, I think, what reached out to me this morning. But I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday, and I hope to see you soon.
Hi, everyone. This is Z from Yonkers Public Library. Thanks so much to Sally Pinto and Alexis and Barbara from Newark. Thank you to our community partners, WJCS, the City of Yonkers Office for the Aging, Westchester County Legislator Ruth Walter, Friends of Crestwood Library, and Yonkers Public Library for making this phenomenal partnership. And we thank each and every one of you for being part of our wellness community. Be well, stay well.